Scientists are worried about the environmental impacts of a projected jump in tourism to Antarctica. A new report published in the Journal of Sustainable Tourism forecasts annual visitor numbers to hit 452,000 by 2034. Queensland University of Technology marine scientist Dr. Valeria Senagalia is the lead author of the report, and she joins me now. I just want to start with your research here. Can you tell us about the impact that this sort of tourism, the numbers there are growing and growing substantially with more tourists visiting this pristine area on Earth. What sort of impact is that having on the area?
Look, the quantified impact is not massive yet in the sense that there's not that many data on it. And the International Association for Antarctica Tour Operators is doing already a great job in mitigating their impact. However, this is a industry association and their membership is voluntary. In terms of impact, there's the trampling on mosses, there is compacting the soil, disturbing seal and penguin breeding colony. These are potential impact. They have been quantified in some area and not in others.
Okay. So I know your research looked into the economic instruments used to complement regulations to protect this unique environment. What are some of those?
Well, for instance, some could be quantity-based. So can we put a cap on the maximum number of visitors that can arrive in Antarctica, that can land in Antarctica? Or can we provide taxes? So increase essentially the price of a trip to Antarctica. But then all of these different ways that we can use to manage tourism carry some difficulties in how we implement it and also whether they are acceptable or not by the governing body. Other option would be to use certification. Again, the IATO Association has their own. We are arguing that maybe complementing with more strict rules and economic instrument might help to curb this incredible growth.
Yeah, what are some of the regulations around who can travel there, what people can do there? I was reading over historically there's been numerous treaties, but what are the current laws that protect this environment?
Right. So the first and foremost, I guess, is the need for an environmental impact assessment. So anything that happens in Antarctica needs to go through this process, which is dealt with by each country, signatories of the Antarctic Treaty. And they establish whether the activity that will be done in Antarctica is not impactful, or anyway, the impact will be transitory and minimal. On top of this, there are site-specific guidelines. So there are regulations on how to approach animals or how many people would land at any point of time. However, all of these are voluntary. So they're not legally binding. There is only one resolution that was passed in 2007 that was meant to limit the number of tourists that were allowed to land at any time. Unfortunately, while this measure reached consensus, so everybody agreed that that was a great idea, but it's not implemented yet because some of the country didn't implement this particular rule in their own domestic law.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of this will be dealt with at the Antarctic Treaty Consultative meeting in Italy a little later next month. Just in the last minute or so that we have, Valeria, I mean, the pictures that we're seeing while I'm chatting to you generally look about, people doing research there, people being quite respectful of the surrounds. But what does tourism look like? I mean, are there some people going there and having a party?
Define parties. Who hasn't had a party when they go anywhere? But I would say that, most of the tourism operators try to do the right thing. It's just that if this increase will actually eventuate, it's hard not to provoke any type of impact, if you know what I mean, by carbon emission.
Yeah.
Or
just getting
alien
there
species.
alone. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's really interesting. We'll keep across this meeting coming up in Italy later this month. Dr. Valeria Senaglia, thank you.